Welcome back to the Jack Black Stack Attack. What do you call Libre that isn't yours? Nacho Libre. Let's just start the review. Nacho Libre begins with Ignacio, played by Jack Black, cooking and serving low-quality breakfast to the orphans of the monastery he works for. After breakfast, the monastery introduces their new sister, Sister Encarnacion, who Ignacio seems to have a crush on. He tries to put the moves on her, but the head monks send him off to perform his holy duties, namely, getting chips for the orphans. However, as Ignacio grabs the chips, a homeless wretch attacks him and makes off with the chips. Just outside the alleyway is the great luchador Ramses. Ramses' wondrous presence gives Ignacio an idea. If he teams up with the homeless wretch to fight tag team in the wrestling ring, he can win extra money to make quality meals for the orphans and Sister Encarnacion. So Ignacio and the wretch, whose name is Steven, go through a training montage to prepare for the fight. The night of the fight arrives, and Ignacio and Steven lose. Big shock. Even though they lost, they still get paid for participating, and an invitation to fight next week. They accept, and Ignacio dons a proper luchador costume and title, Nacho. Even after adopting this new name, come next week, Nacho and Steven lose again. Next week shows up, and they lose a third time. Despite Nacho being a terrible wrestler, he figures he'd have a better chance of winning if he were to become a professional luchador. So he and Steven head off to a fancy lucha fiesta to get hired and become pro. Two problems. First, there's no food left for the monastery. Second, and more importantly, Nacho wasn't invited to the lucha fiesta. So he sneaks in by pretending to be a mariachi. Meanwhile, Steven talks to one of the managers of Pro Circuit Wrestling. If he or Nacho can win a battle royale and then win one-on-one against Ramses, they can go pro. Sweet deal. So Nacho and Steven start training even harder to prepare for the battle royale, right? Not exactly. Nacho's bike gets vandalized, preventing him from getting food for the orphans. He decides to blame Steven for whatever reason, and they have a fight. So the day of the battle royale arrives, and both Nacho and Steven lose. However, Nacho came in second, and since the winners suffered a broken foot, Nacho gets to fight Ramses. So Nacho beats Ramses, is given a pants load of money, uses it to buy a bus for the monastery, Nacho and Steven are friends again, and that's pretty much the movie. So, that's Nacho Libre. How is it? The movie is slow. The plot is fairly straightforward, but there isn't enough meat to it, so it has to introduce unfinished side plots to stretch it out to the 90-minute mark. The comedy is hit and miss, mostly miss, but when the joke is funny, it's really funny. 2 out of 5. Jack Black's performance saves this movie. Some might claim that Jack Black's Hispanic accent is over the top, but it's a comedy, and he's Jack Black. I'd be disappointed if it wasn't over the top. 4 out of 5. And the overall rating of Nacho Libre is 6 Jack Blacks out of 10. Final thoughts? This is one of those watch this movie just for Jack Black scenarios. So, yeah, watch this movie just for Jack Black. Well, that about does it for the Jack Black Stack Attack. Hurry back next time where I'll review another movie with Jack Black in it. Specifically, The Holiday. Hey, what do you call Libre that isn't yours?